Oop. 1 second. Says it's not receiving video yet. Preview loading. Give us 2 seconds. All right. Well, we are live. Give us 2 seconds. Do these cool little things called sharing is caring and all that good jazz. But hey, welcome back to another edition of Hops News, where we discuss beer news, beer stuff, all the goodness in beers. Today's episode is going to be a few beers that we're going to live taste, actually, for a really cool event that we're doing for the Beer in Front podcast. They're doing like a cool beer tasting competition thing, but some of the beers aren't like, hey, we're getting together and doing like a GABF craft beer kind of thing. It's more of a, hey, here's a PBR, let's taste it and judge it and kind of stuff. But it's still fun nonetheless.
Oh, we'll judge it, all right.
Some might be harshly like the three we have tonight. So we have a summer shandy from Line & Kugel. We have the crap, I forgot off the top of my head. Lauren, save me.
We have the North Coast Stout. We have a Shinerbach.
Yes, the Shinerbach and the North Coast.
Sorry, but I'm frazzled. My computer wasn't starting. I've been running around.
We're having technical difficulties tonight.
I have them on here. Yeah, the North Coast Rasputin Stout. We have that one. We have Shinerbach, and we have the Line & Kugel Summer Shandy, which I did not get a glass for. I just need a pint glass for that one, I guess.
Yeah, it's not streaming on. We're not streaming on Facebook for some reason right now. I don't know why. So, yeah, with that said, go ahead and follow all of our social media sites. Hops News on any social media site. Hops News on any podcasting platform site. That's where you'll find all of our stuff. And again, if you want to be more involved and pay attention to the beer judging competition that we're doing, go ahead and follow Beer in Front. You can find Beer in Front and Dave on pretty much any social media and podcasting platform with the same. Not sure what's going on over here. I'm messing around in the meantime. So, Lauren, why don't you take it over for 2 seconds while I play with trying to get us live on a couple of the other sites?
Sure. So I'll tell you a little bit about my weekend. I got to go to a fun beer fest. I went to Orlando Brewers Beer Fest this past Saturday. It's run by Boegans, which we have their brewery in Castleberry, and we have a brewery of theirs in East Orlando. They do a lot of great beers, some classic beers, some fun beers. But this beer fest was not like any one I've been to before, because a lot of breweries got very creative and it seemed to work. And a lot of breweries had mini food pairings, which was fun and unexpected and something I've never seen. And they had, it was kind of like Smash, where you get to vote. So, everybody got like 3 tokens or 3 beer caps and you got to vote for one. And then they had actual judges that were voting as well. Nice. So that was really cool. And so one of them, Half Wall Brewing, which is in New Smyrna, they had a like chocolate wheat beer. And so it looked very thick. Like it looked amazing. Like thick with 2 C's, but it was a wheat beer. And it tasted very light, though, and it worked very well. And they gave you an actual little Oreo to dip in your beer. Oh,
yo, turn that shit off. No, I'm just kidding. We are live on Facebook now, by the way. We're live on
Logan's still on amoxicillin.
Jeez, poor kid.
Well, it's 10 days. And another brewery, though, it was I've talked about this one before. It's the one that's right by the convention center that we always go to after MegaCon. It's called Half Barrel, and they're mainly like a bottle shop, but they do have a very small brewing system, and they were there, and they made this fantastic beer and paired it with like this Thanksgiving sandwich, and it was delicious. It was absolutely delicious. I didn't have a bad beer there. I didn't have a mediocre beer there. And then Ellipsis did a boba tea beer and had actual like boba in it and gave you a straw, and it was really fun. Everybody got creative and it worked. It was a lot of fun. So there you go. If you ever see that one in Orlando, definitely go to it.
Yeah, I also went to a beer fest. Actually, funny enough, I went to the Boise Brewing.
Turned older.
Yeah, 32. I did.
I was
so
like,
you were like, you turned 30 something.
No, I knew you were 32, but some people are weird about saying their age in public. I don't know why. I mean, you're a dude, so you probably care less. But
no, I mean it was all right. Yeah, nothing too exciting to write home about. But Carrie and I got to spend the day together. We went to the Boise Brewing Fresh Hoptober Festival, which, if you know anything, it's fresh hop season. So all the hops just got picked. All the breweries around here, since the hop fields are about 30 minutes away, if that. then you get to pretty much just brew beer, right? From the fields. And so
That's
that's pretty
amazing.
pretty rad. And so they have 10 breweries, I think it was. There might have been more. I think there might have been 14 breweries total. So I can't remember them all, but like Mad Swede was there, which is a wicked good brewery. And then there was Western Collective, Edge, Clairvoyant, Boise Brewing, of course, and a couple other ones. So I went ahead and I went and got 10 tickets, which was $40. So 10 tickets for 10 5-ounce pours was more than enough. So I actually pre-gamed
That's
and
so
yeah.
weird. I've
So
never been to a beer fest that was not unlimited. That is so
it
weird.
is
Is
weird.
that like
Well,
an Idaho law?
well, no, like you could pay $4 for extra tickets, like $4 per tasting for extra ones, but they gave you 10. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess it's a thing here where you
But
get a
like, is
certain
that a
amount of
law that you
tickets.
have to like that you can't do like all you can drink?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. That's a good question because I'm
That's
just
so
used to
weird.
tickets here and it's not unlimited, so that kind of sucks. But
I can't even like fathom. I feel like I'd be like, "Where's an ATM? I need more tickets."
they take card, don't worry. So I pre-gamed actually. I went to Woodland Empire, met up
It's even
with
more dangerous.
Robin Keeley from Woodland Empire, who you guys may know, and we had a couple beers there, and it was good. It was great seeing them. We might get together here soon, but the vibe was just kind of weird in there now. I don't know. I guess they didn't even know. Like Keely's still the head brewer, and they had no idea what day they were opening because it's a new owner. And the new owner didn't tell them when they were opening. They just went ahead and opened it. And Keely was like, "What? Are you sure we're open tonight?" They had friends telling them, basically, like, "Hey, you guys are opening back up tonight," and they're like, "No, what?" And so it was kind of just awkward and everything. But it was a good time seeing
Oh,
them. Got to try their new mixtape IPA, which is wicked good, and then went to the festival. So I had a couple beers, went to the festival, and I only finished about 7 of my pours because I had to eat, and so I ate, and then I got wicked full, and I couldn't drink any more beer. So I found this kid who was wearing Green Bay Packer overalls, and I gave him my last 3 tickets.
Green Bay Packer overalls.
Yeah, yeah. So like, if Packer fans know that there's overalls that you just see at tailgates, you see Packers fans wear. He had some Star Wars pins and stuff like that. So I gave him the last 3 tickets, and then we went to go get tattoos. But for some reason in Idaho, like the tattoo shops all close at 7, and nobody does walk-ins, which kind of sucks. And so like you can't just spontaneously go and get tattoos. You have to like plan your whole life basically, and it kind of sucks, especially
Trying to
that they
like
close at
make
7.
sure people don't get drunk tattoos.
No, it's just Idaho sucks. Idaho sucks. And then we went to go ahead and we were going to go to a liquor store, but the liquor stores close at fucking 9 o'clock. So we're like, what
I
the
mean, you
hell,
do have to
man?
pay per beer at a beer fest. That's so.
Yeah. It's,
Anybody who's listening, I would love to know if you've ever been to a beer fest that was like that, and if that is something that some people just do, and maybe Florida is just the free for all, which we usually are.
I love
Um,
Florida
but
laws.
yeah,
Give me Florida laws. So, yeah, man. I mean, it is what it is. It was fun. We went out. We came home kind of early because we're old, and went to bed. So that was kind of that, and it was fun. I love beer festivals. It was, oh, we did go to Idlewild. I forgot. Afterwards, after the beer fest, we went to Idlewild, which is a newer brewery in Boise, Garden City, technically. I had their pumpkin ale, which was wicked good. We ended up watching the Mariners game, going to 18 innings. It was fun. And then we went home after that. So good time. Good time. We might go get random tattoos this weekend of Frankenstein and Frankenstein's Bride because there's a flash sale
you
going
mean
on for one of my.
Frankenstein's monster?
Yeah, whatever. The Bride of
Frankenstein's
Frankenstein.
the doctor.
I know, and I don't care, okay? The monster and the bride. All right.
I don't know if you know
Jeez.
this, but there's a supernatural episode about the Frankenstein family.
All right. Well, let's get to this beer tasting. So let's go with Leinenkugel first.
Okay, so I'll go over the if anybody is beer tasting with us, grab a beer. You don't have to drink what we're drinking. Just grab a beer and we're going to drink it like a
I'm sure you're
well,
drinking
I
better
guess you could say
things.
beer, not a beer snob. We're drinking it like a judge. All right, so the first thing you want to do is proper glassware. I am drinking my shandy out of a pumpkin can glass, so that's not proper glassware. Whoa, it's a lot of head.
I looked this up. This is the proper glass. I got this from Niagara Falls, funny enough. But
Ah, so a Belgian wit glass is the proper glass for a shandy.
I looked up and this
Oh,
is
because
the
it's a
glass they were
Weiss
giving
beer.
me. Yeah. So
Oh, okay. I have one of those right here. It's not rinsed. Normally, I recommend rinsing it. This needs to be washed.
this one definitely.
Okay, I'm gonna rinse my glass because that's what you want to do before you put a beer in it.
Well, there you go. There's the pour looking real good. So some things that you look for when you go ahead and taste a beer, kind of, right? So you got the aroma, smell first. You get what kind of flavor or smells do you get? Some appearance, color, clarity. How's the head? I rate her 10 out of 10 every single time. Flavor, the
But
balance, the bitterness, aftertaste. You taste it, the
this class is so
mouthfeel,
silly.
overall impression. So the aroma first. Well, I
Wait,
guess we
okay,
should
so
go
first,
appearance. Ooh, what is
okay, so I
happening?
poured the first half in this glass, which was
Mm,
properly cleaned and rinsed beforehand. And then this one has not been washed in a while. And I did just rinse it. But if you can, I don't know if you can
swine.
see, if you see bubbles sticking to the sides, that means your glass is dirty and that can impact the flavor. So you always want to make sure that your glass is clean. So
Clean,
I'm going to
clean.
drink out of the improper glassware that's clean.
Ooh, clean. How comes
Yes,
my
first thing,
conscience is
aroma.
so clean?
Ooh, I smell lemon.
Lots of lemons. It smells very, very lemony.
Smells fantastic.
As
I don't know that I've
it's a
ever had
summer
this
shandy,
beer.
so I mean, really, it's from
Yes, this is
Wisconsin.
Kugel Summer Shandy Weiss beer, natural lemonade flavor.
Yeah, it smells straight
So I
up
get,
like lemonade. It smells like lemons, like fresh squeezed lemons. That's what I'm getting. And then
all right, so yeah,
the color is
citrus,
beautiful. It's
lemon.
Oh, you're writing this down. I guess I should do the same.
Well, yeah, because we have to do this.
God dang it.
Let me see, because so he had in the thing, okay, aroma. So what would you rate aroma? What is our scale? 1 to 10 or 1 to 5? I think it's 1 to 10.
I think it's 1 to 10. Oh,
Aroma, damn, I give that like a 9. It smells
I
amazing.
would give this aroma about a 9.5 personally. So how do you spell this?
Appearance, I think it looks beautiful. It you can't see through it. It is not clear.
Yeah, no, you definitely
See, this is
can't.
so easy.
9.
It looks good though. So appearance, like I mean, I guess a 10.
I'm
I don't
I'm
know.
I'm giving this a 9 just
I'm
because
gonna do a 9. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 9. It looks beautiful. It's got really really good head on it though, for real. Like this
Yes.
beautiful
And that is
beautiful
good for
pour.
appearance.
Yes.
Yeah. So nice head.
What's the next
And
one?
now we taste it.
Mm.
Next is flavor. Is it balanced? Is it bitter? Is there an aftertaste? Wow, this is very light. With how much aroma I got, I expected more flavor.
You get a lot of the initial taste. I get a lot of like that lemonade flavor, but on the back end, it's very very light. Like there's not a lot of flavor on the back end.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like most of the flavor is in the aroma.
Most of the flavor is definitely in the aroma, and then that initial taste. There's a lot of flavor in the initial taste,
Yeah. And then it just fades.
and then yeah, after that, it just disappears almost entirely when you go and actually drink it. But I
I
mean,
can see how people could just crush these. What is the ABV? It's only
yeah,
4.2%.
no, I think as far as taste goes, me personally, because I'm kind of be snobbish. I'm not trying to be a snob, but I think it's gonna be about a 5 because for me, you lose a lot of flavor after the initial taste.
Yeah. I don't hate this though. I
No,
mean, I
oh
think I
no,
would
I
give
don't
it like
hate
a
it at all.
6.5. Maybe
Uh,
even a 7.
uh, ooh, okay. I think I'd go to like I would give it a 6. I think because of the initial taste. The more I kind of think about it, I kind of still smell lemons.
Actually, maybe I would do a 6 because overall, I think I would do like a 7.
A 7. Okay. Well, I'm sticking strong, man. I'm going 6. And yes, I think
So,
shandies are kind of lemonade beers. They're summer beers, so
but before we go to overall, though, we have mouthfeel. Is it thick, thin, smooth? Are there bubbles? The carbonation's not overly whatever. There's not too many bubbles. It's very smooth.
yeah, I
It's
don't get a lot of carbonation. It's definitely very smooth. I think mouthfeel overall, I'd say the
it's
mouthfeel is very light and easy on your mouth.
yes, but it's thicker than I would have expected too. If that
Mm,
makes any sense.
I don't think it is. No, I think maybe because I had it before, I know what I was expecting. I think the mouthfeel, honestly, I'd probably give about a 7.
Yeah, we're not rating mouthfeel for beer in front, but normally you would rate mouthfeel in the beer judge
Uh,
certification guidelines.
well, I'm still gonna put it down. Overall impression.
which Jay actually sent us an article earlier. It's a podcast about that actually has beer judges. I listened to it a little bit earlier. I didn't get to finish it because my kids didn't want to listen to people talk about beer judging in the car. But it is.
Give me Cocoa
I'm gonna
Melon.
look it up. Yeah. Oh God, no, no more Baby Shark.
So
We
I think,
expire. We retired Baby Shark a while ago. Give me a second, and I will. You can go ahead and
well,
tell us
I
what you
was just
think, and
gonna
I'm
go
gonna pull up
ahead
that
and
podcast.
say that in between beer tastings, because I actually kind of want to drink this whole thing. To be honest with you, it's pretty good. We'll move on, but maybe we hit some news in between some beers, since
For
we
sure.
only have
So
three beers tonight. So
it
what
was all
will
about beer. If you
mm,
want to listen to a podcast with some actual beer judges, and they were talking about how they judge GABF. So just search all about beer wherever you listen to podcasts.
yeah. So it's overall impression. I don't hate it. It's definitely it's good. I think it's a good light summer beer, and it's something that like if you're just sitting on the porch or you're out there on the river kind of things, this is kind of one of those go tos. And so I think overall I'd probably give this beer about a 7 for me personally.
I agree. I'm actually enjoying it way better than I would have thought. Because like when I see shandy too, I think of have you ever had the Schafferhofer?
No.
The grapefruit shandy. It's only like 2% or something. You can get it. They always have it at Epcot in Germany, and it just tastes like juice. So
Mm,
whenever I see or hear shandy, I think of that, and it's
right.
just to me that's not beer at all. This, I mean, it's a Weiss beer. It tastes like a beer with a lot of lemon.
Yeah, exactly. It's not breaking ground in the beer scene, but it's not supposed to, right? Like that it's not supposed to whatsoever. It's
Right.
just supposed to be a light, easy drinker. And especially for a summer shandy when it's wicked hot outside, that's what I'm getting, and I'm satisfied.
And I get why people, because you hear about these beers and sometimes like this beer's been around forever. It's a very light beer. Like, why is this such a big deal? I can see why, boy, this could still be somebody's go-to, even if they're, slamming the hazies and the
Oh
barrel-aged
yeah.
stouts on a regular as well.
I think it's a good palate cleanser too. That lemon kind of rinses out your mouth a bit.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I'm hoping for more flavor as it warms. I feel like I'm already starting to get more of a lingering aftertaste.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
definitely can agree with that. So let's take a break and let's roll into some news. So some news here. We have a South African brewer and filmmaker, Obekong Malop. If I butchered that name, you know what? I am so sorry. Well, they have created a program that's blending beer culture and social change. Malop or Malope is the creator of Beer as Art, which is an initiative to offer access to the craft beer industry to South Africa's unemployed young people. In the second quarter of 2022, 4.8 million 15 to 34-year-old South Africans were unemployed. It's pretty astronomical, especially in this age range. So 46.5% of the population in that age group. So Malope believes that the growing South African craft beer industry has a potential to help lift some of these young people out of poverty, which people love beer. I think he's onto something there for sure. The youth are sitting at home unemployed here in South Africa. This campaign is aimed to teach them about beer, that beer is not something that you drink and just get drunk off of. We teach beer, we teach food pairings, brewing beer, podcasting, and licensing, and we show them that they can turn beer into a career, she says. Oops, I called him a him. I am so sorry. Again, that's on me. But it's a really great initiative, especially in a country such as Africa. And more specifically, there's a lot of South Africa is typically a lot of, people talk about the danger and the crime and stuff. So maybe this is something that can kind of help create positive change, especially when near half the population is unemployed.
Yeah, I think that's only in certain areas too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know like Johannesburg and all that. They kind of have like crime issues and things like that. But I think this is a great initiative. You can teach that beer isn't just something that you go to as a vice, and to not only pair it with food and do licensing. There's a lot of different things that they can do, especially podcasting that could lead to journalism and things like that. So really, really great initiative.
I agree.
That's what I have. What do you got?
What do I have?
What's some
Oh,
news that you
I do
got?
have some news. So, markets in China. Oh, damn it. This stupid laptop always freezes on me. I thought this one was actually kind of interesting because just anytime they talk about craft beer in other areas, it's it's kind of cool to hear about because you really only know about the States. So
Right.
markets in China are actually seeing an increase in luxury
China.
items or a decrease in luxury items like purses and clothing, and they're seeing splurges on more things such as food, beverages, or experiences.
Mm,
So Hong Kong listed Budweiser Brewing, Asia Pacific, a unit of Anheuser-Busch, said that premium and craft beer is doing exceptionally well right now, especially the ones that are packaged in gift boxes and priced very high. So I thought
interesting.
that was I mean, I think that's good. Let's be less materialistic and focus more on experiences, even if that experience is fancy packaged beer.
I mean,
Who needs a $500 purse? I mean, come on.
that's kind of how I've shifted. Like our mindsets, especially in the current world that we are in, is like, okay, I'd rather get experiences and travel and see things than worry about having the most expensive whatever it is, just because it's like that stuff can only carry you so far. I'd rather have stories to tell because one day I'm going to be old and I'm not going to be able to travel to countries. I'm not going to be able to hike that mountain. I'm not going to be able to do all these things. So to me, experiences are worth way more.
Right. And getting a $200 lightsaber was an experience because you experienced building it.
It was 100% an experience. Absolutely. And that's not one I would trade for anything else.
So I'm going to take this next piece of news because it's Miami news.
Okay. And then after
Box
that,
Elder in Miami will be closing. Anybody who's been there, they're an awesome little bottle shop. That's where I got my Save the Whales glass with the little Miami Dolphins logo. This
yeah.
is one of my favorite glasses. Free the Whales, I'm sorry. Because they have a beer fest every year called Free the Whales. I believe Tripping Animals is part of it. But obviously, a whale is a really hard to get beer, and they would have all these whales. Their last day is on Halloween. They'll be having a party on the 30th to toast the spot and say goodbye. The place they're renting got sold, and the area is just getting some major gentrification. If you've been in the Wynwood area at all, they are not far from Dogfish Miami, which we talked about is closing soon too, due to the ridiculous rent. And they're still considered independent beer, but Dogfish is huge. So if
Oh,
they are
yeah.
deciding to close, like it's expensive. I worry for Jay Wakefield though, because Jay Wakefield is right by this area too, and just their whole area. It's like unless they can take those beautiful murals off their wall, I don't know where they would go. But it's kind of sad because those areas made Wynwood so great, and now those areas are getting pushed out because
Yeah.
it's all just high rises.
Well, you're
The
seeing this in
owners
a
did
lot of
say,
cities.
I'm sorry.
You're seeing this in a lot of cities. A lot of the
Oh
gentrification is
yeah.
happening just in a lot of cities. It's pushing people out and they can't afford to live or do any of this stuff. So it's a major crisis that's coming up.
Right. I mean, it's great when you see an area that was considered a quote unquote poor neighborhood get better and crime
Yeah,
goes down. That's great. But when you're taking out the things that made it great, it's just, I don't know.
exactly. You're
Oh, but
losing that culture.
anyways, the owners did say, however, they're looking at a similar type spot, hopefully to open in downtown Miami. They're also working on another project with Steve Santana, the famous chef, if anybody is a foodie out there. So if you're not familiar with them and you're heading to Miami, definitely keep an eye on the owners of Box Elder and where they may go in the future.
Right on. Hmm. Well, what do you say we open up the Shiner? Do a little taste on the Shiner.
A little Shiner. I have proper glassware for Shiner.
Yeah, I was told goblet. Is that accurate?
Goblet is one of them. So a lot of them are a few different ones. I went to the Beer Advocate website and
Okay.
I just Google, search your not Google search, Google find your beer because there's so many different ones. And then there's obviously different types of box, but I grabbed a
Right.
tulip glass.
Oh, I don't have one of those. So
I got this
I've
fancy
got
glass
the
from the
goblet of
Dollar Tree.
fire.
That's
Well,
a snifter.
oh,
Goblet is like a bowl.
oh, well, you know what? It's all the fucking same to me right now. I don't know. I don't have the proper glassware, I guess. It's all
Now your
good.
beer is gonna taste like shite because you
Gonna
don't have the
be
proper glassware.
terrible.
For
Well,
shame.
this brewery is Spotzel Brewery, Shiner, Texas. Spotzel Brewery out of Shiner, Texas. This is something that I drank a lot of when I initially joined the military because I was living in North Texas for 2 months. And so this is pretty much the go-to Texan beer. This is like their Miller Lite, their Coors Light. Shiner Bock is a big deal there. And say, let's kick it with Shiner Bock. Every drop of Shiner is brewed in Shiner. And it's 12 ounces, and it's hey, independent brewery, of course. I don't see what the ABV is on here, but I'm also blind. So, however, Bock beer combines old world Bavarian heritage with American handcraft brewing for a smooth, delightful, drinkable dark beer. Hmm. This
I believe if
looks.
it's under 6%, they don't have to put it on here, but I might have made that up.
I don't
I
think
could look it up on
it's
Untapped.
very high. That's for sure.
Yeah, if you're getting like a Doppelbock, that's a double Bock. Those tend to be higher, but a
Right.
regular Bock.
And of course, this is kind of what you're looking at
Ooh.
as far as the colors, which is a nice dark, but it's not so dark. There's some light that gets through, and it's a pretty, amber color. Yeah, I would
Oh,
say
I got a
amber.
little bit of bubbles on the bottom. If you do have a slightly dirty glass, just bang it on the table really hard.
You and your dirty glasses.
Just a little on the bottom.
Disgusting.
The problem is a lot of these glasses have been put away. I'm not using them right now because I have all my Halloweeny glasses out.
That's fair.
So they haven't been properly washed in a while. I did rinse it before.
Look at
But if I
that.
find one bubble on mine,
Beautiful.
I slam it down.
Oh God, do I have
Oh,
COVID?
this
I don't.
smells good.
I don't smell anything. Do I have COVID?
It just smells like German beer, man.
I get a little bit of a yeasty smell.
Oh, was I supposed to taste it yet? Probably not. I feel like you get hints of caramel. I was once told no matter what you smell, you're not wrong. I
Yeah, I
smell
get some
pumpkin.
carrot
I
like
don't smell pumpkin.
I get that. Yeah, no, no, not pumpkin, but I get that really good traditional kind of. It's a little lighter, it's on the lighter
Mm-hmm.
side, but I get some flavors, some real solid flavors out of this.
Faux show. This is good. This one's great. I could drink like this type of beer all the
I mean,
time.
I mean, honestly, it's this. That's why this one I lived off of for a long time. So I think aroma, I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
go
I
with
could definitely see
three
this
because
being
I
good. Like,
can't smell anything.
hmm.
Appearance though, this
I
shit gets
mean,
a
well, now
10
I
out of
keep
10.
smelling it. It's not overly strong in smell, but it does smell very good. All right, I'm writing my notes down. Shiner Bock. And we are doing these in the proper order too. So when you are beer tasting, you want to go light to dark as far as
Yeah,
flavors, not necessarily color, because you don't want to do like, oh, this double IPA is very light, so let me drink it before this Bock, because the double IPA will just kill your taste buds. Aroma.
I do get like a really good. There's like this really nice flavor. Like it just tastes like a light Bock. It's not heavy. It doesn't sit in my stomach. My mouth. It
Mm-mm.
just it feels warm. If that sounds right and not at all dirty, but it's just got like
Ew.
this
I didn't
this.
think it was dirty till you said
Well, it's like
dirty.
it's warm in my mouth. Like I don't know how to phrase that.
Like Alanis Morissette line. Jeez.
I think though I give the aroma a 3 again because I can't smell anything. Appearance though I give a 10 because it is a beautiful, beautiful color. I give the taste a 7. Again, it's not gonna send me forward. It's just something that it's like a go-to beer. Hey, it's a nice fall day outside. This is a really solid porch beer. This is a really solid sit and watch football beer kind of thing. I give the mouthfeel an 8 again because it just felt so great in my mouth. And then overall, though, to get serious, so overall, I gave this beer an 8.
I mean, appearance, I'd give it a 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful looking. Thing's beautiful. Look at this. Just beautiful. What a beaut.
Maybe you can't smell it because it's not in a tulip glass.
Son of a
These are the
bitch.
jokes, kid.
Ba-dum-ts.
Next time my Dollar Tree has a tulip glass, I'll
This
scoop you up
microphone,
one.
people are going to listen. They're going to be like, wow, all I hear is just him in the background smelling his glass. Just going. Hit that shit. No, but it's a good beer. I do
Mouth
enjoy
feels very
this.
light, but
Yeah.
flavorful.
Well, that's what I was trying to get at. Like for a Bock, typically Bocks, you get that really strong, like kind of yeasty German kind of flavor in your mouth. But this one's very light, but at the same time, you get a lot of different flavors.
Right. You get more malts and hops, which is to be
Yes,
expected.
absolutely.
That's the thing. It's like I love my overly hot beers, but anytime I have any sort of like classic German style beer, Marzen or Bock, or I
Right.
love a good Doppelbock. Doppelbock's my go to at Epcot which
Oh,
one time I had
really?
one on an empty tummy. Whew,
Uh-oh. Well, they typically tend to be higher ABV, so
because they're,
that
yeah.
could do you in.
Yeah. I realized I was getting real giggly real quick. I was like, whoa, I need to eat some food.
Like, oof.
I'm like,
It's
this is the
good.
best day ever at Epcot.
It's good though.
Yeah.
Instant COVID hit
Honestly,
between
like,
Summer Shandy and Shiner. Yeah, I don't know how that happened either.
well, I mean, the summer shandy, maybe it killed your taste, but or your nose. So I used to work at Yankee Candle back in the day, and we were like they would have little jars of coffee beans because they said after you smelled three different things, it would, it's like an IPA, it would like kill your nostrils. So you
Yeah.
would smell the coffee beans to kind of refresh your palate. And I actually meant to grab some pretzels and eat a pretzel in between too to kind of freshen our palate. But I think we're doing it properly from, we have a shandy and then a bock and then we're doing a stout. So I think
Yeah, we'll
that's a
do the
good
stout here in a minute.
order of operations. But yeah, sometimes you just
Always gotta
lose
have
your
water,
scent
folks.
because oh shit, I forgot water.
Shiner Micah
I'm a mess
Shiner
today.
Holiday is pretty tasty. Lauren's a mess. So while she decides to get her life together, let's roll back into some news. Oregon State University. I feel like we did this last week. We did. Oregon State and Blue Moon. Yep, we did those last week. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the documentary One Pint at a Time that came out last year. Is still doing screenings at different film or beer festival events. So keep your eyes out. It's about the beer industry and how there's not enough representation. Less than 2% of brewmasters, brewery owners, and all of that good stuff are African American in this multi-billion-dollar industry. And this documentary lays out the origins of beer from its roots in Egyptian and African cultures to its current state. Slowly, there are black brewers across the country trying to reshape the industry. Harris Harris Brewers in Harrisburg, PA. There is a brewery there. It's the first African American operated and owned brewery in Pennsylvania. So they're doing a lot of really really cool things. But we saw this happen, a couple of months ago. Not just with the rat magnet stuff that came out, but representation has long been an issue in the beer industry because when people hear craft beer, they think dudes with beards and flannels, and that's a problem. So it's cool that we're going to be getting these documentaries and stuff and kind of we're bringing to light getting more representation because some of the most badass people in the beer industry that I've personally met have been women or people of color and they crush it. And so the fact that there's still this stigma is we got to break it and we got to be better.
So I don't think we did the Oregon one. I think that was Oklahoma. So this one was
Oh,
about
you're
yeast.
right. Sorry, they sounded the same.
Um,
Look at all these breweries sounding the same.
they did honestly, and when I was going through it too, I did a double take. So this one is Oregon State University Brewing researchers. Whoa, why did my computer just skip? My computer's really my computer's as messed up as I
Oh
am
boy.
tonight.
Oh Jesus.
Get it together. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the Oregon State University brewing researchers and a team of bioengineers have shown that a genetically modified yeast strain can alter the fermentation process in such a way as to create beers with more pronounced hop aromas. So these findings obviously could be extremely useful in creating new beer flavors and in increasing the number of tools brewers have at their disposal for producing beers with strong and very tropical flavors and aromas, said Tom Shellhammer, an internationally recognized expert in hops chemistry. So this is, I think it's very interesting because obviously you never know when an area is going to have a drought or when a hop's
Right.
not going to produce that you want, or maybe you want Zeus but Zeus doesn't, isn't doing great. But if you can genetically modify your
Damn it,
yeast strain
Zeus.
to now give the same aromas and flavors that Zeus does, well, there you go. It gives you more, I think, control.
Yeah.
i'm not a
That
sci- i'm,
Well, I
I'm
think
not
it's
a
kind of
scientist
the
at
way
all,
of the
but
future, though. I mean, when we were talking with Great Western Malt, way back in the spring, I think it was. They were talking about
yeah.
how like their cold weather barley hasn't really been growing too well because it hasn't been cold. Like the weather just hasn't been conducive, and so if just food and in general, if we're able to kind of safely find scientific ways to create food, to create new yeast strains, barley strains, things like that, it's going to be good, especially with the way, not to get all climate changing on you, but climate change. So there's that.
Yeah. Well, and I mean that could be detrimental to certain farmers in certain areas to lose, certain
Well,
business. But at the
yeah.
same time, anytime you're decreasing shipping things, it's better for the environment. If you don't have to throw a bunch of hops on a plane, a train, or an automobile, that's better for the environment.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. And well, I mean, farmers is a lot of people, especially middle America, that's their livelihood. I mean, Idaho,
Right,
that's 99% of the economy is driven by farms here in Idaho. So it's really important,
right.
especially in the beer
I mean, you
industry,
got to ship
barley.
yeast too, and yeast could be more fragile. So we need an
Yeah.
expert on that of which one's more environmentally friendly and efficient to ship, yeast or hops. But either way, I think it
Absolutely.
gives you more control. And I don't obviously am not an expert by any means, but with hop being a natural ingredient, like think of every natural ingredient that grows. Your strawberries taste one way this time of year, another way that time of year. This bush tastes that way, and that bush tastes that way. So I'm sure there's some inconsistencies too with
Oh,
certain hops.
yeah.
I could be wrong though. Any hop experts out there, let me know.
Side note, if anybody hears my dogs in the background, I'm sorry. I'm about to go out and shoot the neighbor's dogs. They've been barking for 3 days straight. These people have just moved in and they
In
have
the
left
old
their
yellow
dogs
room.
outside. And all their dogs have done
Oh, that's the worst.
throughout the entire day, throughout the entire night, they haven't stopped barking. And so my dogs bark.
Are your
And
Yeah,
yeah,
I was
my
gonna say,
dogs
so
are now
that's gonna make your
reacting to
dogs
those
bark.
dogs and they're getting anxious and all this stuff. And so it's slowly been pissing me off. I've been giving them the benefit of the doubt. They've just moved in. But if you've been there for a few days and you're just leaving your dogs out at all hours of the day, I'm gonna come over there and we're gonna catch some motherfucking hands at this point. Excuse my language. Because like, bring your
Whoa.
dogs inside. It's down to in the
You
30
don't want
deg.
to now you can't do it because now you have intent.
That's true. Well,
Don't
it's
do
like
it now.
it's been getting down to 35 degrees at night. You shouldn't be leaving your
Ooh.
dogs outside. Bring your fucking dogs inside, you piece of trash human being. Like Jesus
If you're
Christ.
cold, they're cold.
Exactly. And I know they're military. So like I will do the proper thing and report him to his chain of command. Because that is how we handle things as adults in the year
You
of our
just tell on
Lord
them.
2022. I will fucking snitch so fast. And trust me, I know
Oh
everybody
man.
here. Anyways,
So I know I still have a lot of Bach that I'm probably
I
gonna
do
drink while we
too.
record
So
Geeks, but should we move on to Rasputin?
yeah, let's move on. See, I brought a ghost blimp because I didn't know like where we'd be at when we record, but I'm probably gonna be drinking
I have
these
a
three
ghost bump
beers.
right here too. I
Yeah.
know.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens for geeks. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and go with the North Coast Brewing Company. It's their Old Rasputin Russian Imperial Stout. Now, this place is out of Fort Bragg, California. It is 12 fluid ounces and it comes in at 9% ABV. So I'm going to go
You're
ahead
gonna
and
say
pour
12
this.
ounces or 12 ABV.
No, this comes in at 9. Like, it's a Russian Imperial. So actually, 9% is kind of low for what you would think a Russian Imperial.
Well, I mean, a double. That's
It's
about right
dark,
for a
though. I
double. If you're
mean,
going 10%, well, I guess I'm
man.
thinking IPAs, but yeah. So this brewery, funny story. We did a
Do,
little
do.
mini road trip back in 2018. We flew into San Fran and drove up to Portland and flew out of Portland, and we stayed a night in Fort Bragg. And we had the kids with us, so I didn't plan on it being a entire brewery vacation. And we're in Fort Bragg, and my husband goes, "Did you know that was here?" And I look over, and there's the brewery, and it's a full-on restaurant.
Oh,
So we
really?
ate dinner there, and I was like, "No, but I've had their beer." And you can actually get this brewery's red ale at Hollywood Studios because they have a little bar at Hollywood Studios that just serves California beer. Most of it's fake craft beer like Golden Road.
Right.
Actually, that's probably the only fake one, but they also have Stone, and I won't buy Stone anymore.
Nope.
Um, but yeah, this brewery is
Man,
great, and I haven't had this beer in a long time, and
this
I'm about to
beer I've
drink it.
never had, and it smells amazing. Like with an imperial stout, you tend to get those chocolatey aromas and things like that, and that's what I
Ooh,
get. This kind of smells like Christmas to me, in that it smells
this
like.
smells like Sunday morning.
Well, this smells like when you sit down, the Christmas lights are on, the tree is up, you got a fire going, and you're watching Christmas movies. That's what this smells like, if you can imagine that. And so,
This is not, it's not
yeah,
too often that you have a stout that's not full of adjuncts.
right. Well, especially nowadays, everybody throws, all sorts of things. So finding a real classic stout is hard to come by.
Right.
And like I said, you most of the time, due to the malt and stuff, you get a lot of chocolatey flavors. So the aroma, I'm
Mm.
giving this a 10 just because it smells heavenly.
Got your smell back, did
Appearance,
you?
appearance. My smell is back. I'm COVID
Oh,
free.
appearance.
Is a
That
10.
bitch is sexy. Yeah.
Appearance is a
And I
10.
have mine in a nonic pint glass, which is one of the recommended glasses for stouts. I think stouts you can do a few things, but
Mm.
imperial stout, probably your glass is better. You win this round.
Haha. You know what? 2 out of 3. I'll take it. But
You son of
taste.
a bitch.
There's a lot of flavor to this. A lot of flavor. I get a lot of ch- chocolatey, chocolatey notes in the beginning, and then you get that classic imperial back feel at the very end.
Yeah. It's like the hops.
Yes, which
It's like
it's
you forget that there's hops in dark beers.
you do, but well, you don't typically get a lot of. Well, you don't really put a lot of hops, or you don't. With IPAs and stuff, you brew them longer, but hops aren't a
It's
key
lower
component. Yeah,
IBUs,
hops aren't a
international
key
bitterness
component when it
units.
comes to stouts, and that's also why they kind of ferment faster and things like that. But yeah,
Um,
everything's
yeah. I mean, you
great.
can always get it. Well, he added a Guinness too. So, if you're just chiming in now, we're reviewing beers for Beer in Front is a great podcast. Follow him on all the socials, and we're got a bunch of beer people together. I guess beer enthusiasts, and some are legit beer people. I just consider myself an enthusiast to
Yeah,
rate
I'm not a
beers.
professional.
All I mean, there's a Russian River on there. There's PBR on there, so it's from the worst to the best and everything in between. And Guinness is on there, and I got a Guinness in my fridge. I didn't even have to go buy that. That was already there.
I
But Guinness, I mean, that's always a great go-to. I could drink a Guinness for breakfast.
Oh yeah, I mean Guinness is actually typical. They're kind of breakfast beers in my opinion. Funny enough, but
Mm.
I I give this the mouthfeel on this. I give it a 9. The taste is a 9. So overall, I'm going 9.5 on this Imperial Stout because this is a real classic Russian Imperial Stout. Like if you go to a brewery and you order an
It's a
Imperial Stout,
classic.
this is kind of what I picture you should be getting. It's good. Very, very good. I'm interested to see
I agree.
the flavors you get as it warms up, just like you were with the shandy. Like, I feel like there's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be a lot more flavors that kind of appear the warmer this
Oh yeah.
gets.
The darker the beer, it seems like the better it gets when it warms. I feel like we should have done a shitty beer tonight too. Like we should have cracked open a PBR just for like
I
comparison.
couldn't find any. I wish so. I couldn't find. So pretty much, kind of what we're gonna do is I'm gonna search out some of the ones that I can for sure get, and then maybe the deadline is December for this to do all this. So maybe throughout the next month or so, we just do a couple beers at a
Oh
time that
yeah.
we're able to get and just go through and taste beers. I think that's a good
I
idea
like it.
because I'm going out to Boise tomorrow, and I'll be able to probably get. I'll probably be able to get a single PBR, a single Blue Moon. There was a few beers there that they you can get. Just I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I walked into this one place to look to see if they had any singles, and bro, it was awful. Like the whole place smelled like stale cigarettes. The ladies were old and looked like they reeked of stale cigarettes. And I looked in, I saw their
Like
beer
Marge
cooler.
Simpson's
I
sisters.
saw their beer cooler was nothing but like Arizona, like or not Arizona ICs, but the twisted teas. And I was like, well, I'm getting the fuck up out of here. And she was like, can I help you? And I was like, oh, I was just looking. She goes, but for what? And I was like, oh my God, help me. I'm going to get stabbed. And I was like, beer. She says, oh, okay. And I just like ran out and hopped in my car. I was like, Skrr. This is the one and only time I've ever been in that. There's this, it's a shop in the middle of Mountain Home. And I guess this is where everybody goes and gets their not even cigars, like their Black and Milds and their shitty Miller Lights. And I don't even know what this place is, but it was scary.
Is
And
it
I
a
thought
gas station?
it wasn't a gas station, no, but it was like a smoke shop, I guess. I don't know, but I thought I was gonna die. That's all that matters. I
Well,
escaped with my
speaking of
life.
Blue Moon, I'm glad you escaped. So, Blue Moon, who is owned by Molson Coors, they want to be considered craft. They sell more Belgian wit beer than anyone else, and they're now doing a hazy beer, and they have a lighter Blue Moon variation. And they believe these beers are well crafted, therefore, they should have the craft status. I call bullshit. Your Coors. So
Yeah,
Moon
no.
Haze Hazy IPA, which was first brewed at Blue Moon Small Batch Brewery in Denver, beat out 136 competitors in a blind tasting to win a gold medal at the 2020 Great American Beer Festival for the best juicy or hazy pale ale. Thoughts? I haven't tried it.
I haven't
I mean,
either.
I'd be down to try it, but
I will say this: Blue Moon, I'm kind of partial to because when I turned 21 and was able to go to bars and stuff, like the cool kid I was, this was like my go-to beer before I really found craft beer. And so this was 2001 or 2001. Jesus God, this was 2011,
I was gonna say
and
I couldn't even drink in 2001
no, this was 2011, and
legally.
so this was before the big craft beer boom, right? And so yeah, I don't, I still I don't think Blue Moon should be winning any awards though. I don't care what you have because your cores like you don't belong here.
All right. So overall, so now we have 3 beers done so far. And I think like because I'm gonna have I think both my parents are coming
Mm.
over for Halloween, so that might be a good day to
Ooh, I'm
to
going to
make everybody be
Vegas.
like, we're gonna do a taste test on Sam Adams Lager.
Hey
It'll
guys,
be
I'm
fun.
breaking out the bottles tonight. It's Sam's
I
Boston
know.
Lager. Let's
They'll be like,
go.
ooh, what barrel aged stout does she have? Nope,
No
I got
joke
Blue Moon
though.
and Boston Lager.
That tactical pumpkin cinnamon swirl, that sounds
Yeah,
decadent. Oh my god. If
I
you
know. I don't
go
know if
and
I'm
you
gonna be
get
able
your
to get
okay,
that.
but if you go, let me know and I will Venmo you for a bottle.
Oh, it's that good, or it's that exciting.
I mean, it's a pumpkin cinnamon roll, so I
All
mean,
right.
I'll. It sounds that exciting to me, but it doesn't take much when you just throw the word pumpkin in there. And speaking of,
Well, we get so many good ones. I feel like sometimes you're like, hey, if you get it, awesome. This one, you're like, oh, if you get it, like I'm breaking out the Venmo.
yeah,
Like usually
I'll
it's
bust
tit
out
for
the
tat.
Venmo
I didn't know it
because
was this serious.
well, I don't get beers like this. That's the thing. Like,
Yeah, that's a
I
shame.
don't
And
get
you're
these
so
bottle.
close to such good beer.
Well, not even that, but like, you would think with the amount of hops and the access to all this that we have here, being in Idaho, it's just it's hard because I really do enjoy the Idaho beer scene. They do a lot of good stuff, but they don't mix it up. They don't
Oh
try
yeah.
new things. So maybe one or two breweries maybe do. What's up, Byron? And so they don't really
You get some wet hops though.
yeah, but they don't like break the mold. It's they do the same beer rotations all the time. So you're not getting these new releases like you get. Like, yeah, your breweries do the same rotations, but that's what I loved about Woodland is they did these out of like they brewed beer with carrots and beets. No other
Oh,
brewery
and there's
does that.
sour beer with the
It,
sour bread or sourdough
exactly.
bread.
And I haven't drank that yet. Well, no, I have that one. I still have one more can of the Bull in my fridge actually. But
Nice.
my
No, all
thing,
the beers you sent me I thought were fantastic. What was the one stout that's so good? Their county stout.
oh, Ada County Stout. Yes, yes, yes. I
Yeah.
hope they do that because obviously I'll get cans and this will be my last Ada County release. But yeah, I just so when there's beers like I hope I get to move back someplace that like Definitive does a lot of really cool things like that in Portland, Maine, and that I was just so spoiled. I think so coming to a place where you don't you don't get to really get anything new, and the reason why I don't go to the brewery in my town too often is because it's the same beers over and over, which I
Yeah.
feel bad saying that, but they're good beers. It's just I like to try new things because I'm so ADHD, and that's on me. But
So before we sign off, I haven't been paying attention to comments. Should we go through some comments on we had some comments on the Facebook.
we got Byron.
Patrick said,
Who? Byron.
unfortunately, my beer league volleyball only has Miller Lite. Womp, womp, womp. That's my
That's still
stepdad's
good.
favorite. My stepdad,
It's my
Rich, who was
birthday.
my Calusa hookup a few weeks ago, shout out to Rich. He likes good beer. He loves great beer, but he still drinks Miller Lite.
It's okay. It's okay. You do you. We're only
Beerus
gonna
from Dragon
judge.
Ball?
Like Dragon Ball Z.
Beerus from Dragon Ball. Is that a real name? Beerus?
Oh, I don't remember. It's been so long. I'm out of the game.
Oh,
Magic Hat though, Micah. I do love me some Magic Hat 9, baby.
yeah, that is a great one. I got to do that brewery tour in Vermont. It was actually a really cool brewery tour. And it was the only one I've ever gone on where like they legit had like a video for you to watch about their
Oh,
brewery
really?
before
That's
you went
cool.
on the tour.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
and then it was a really cool like balcony where you can like it's made for people. The whole place was like designed for tours. And
Right.
you can like walk on this like balcony and just watch like the production line because obviously, they have a huge production line.
Yeah.
I like beers that try fun new combinations. Byron, if you were listening at the beginning of this, I was talking about a beer fest I went to this past weekend, and there were so many breweries that tried some crazy combinations. There was a boba tea beer and
Ooh,
a
boba tea.
chocolate wheat beer, and yeah,
Oh, there was actually a
there was
beer
some
at
great beers
Woodland this
there.
weekend. They had Earl Grey tea in it, and it was actually good. Carrie got it. It was with their amber, and they brewed it with Earl Grey tea, and it was actually pretty good. See, that's what I'm talking about. I like new shit.
Yeah,
Let's get
yeah,
crazy
no,
with it.
it's fun. Rock Pit's done a couple tea beers, and I didn't expect to like them, and they were surprisingly good. It's like,
Ooh, you know where I am going next week?
I do. Oh, Vegas.
Vegas, baby. I'm going to Vegas next weekend, and they have some really good breweries. So I'm excited to get to Able Baker again because they have like 26 beers on tap. It's pretty overwhelming, but
Oh,
I'm
and you sent me
hoping.
that atomic one. That was really
Yeah,
good.
well, they have a pumpkin one too. I want to try, and they have some really good stouts.
Oh
So
shit.
I'm going for When We Are Young festival. So if you don't hear from me again after next Saturday, just know I have died, and that's that because it's gonna be like it's basically Warp Tour, but oh, he's in Vegas now. So go to Able Baker, go to Hop Nuts. Those are the two big ones that I really enjoyed. I can't
It's
remember.
the one we follow, Nevada Beer Works or something. Their
Yeah,
friggin'
Nevada
food
Beer
looked
Works, I
amazing.
believe, is in Vegas as well. So check out those three. There was this really good one called Mad Fermentus, but unfortunately they closed during the pandemic, which sucks.
Oh,
But
that does suck.
definitely go to Able Baker. That's like the number one place you should go to because no joke, they have like 20 something beers on tap and it's incredible. And they give you like a rubber ducky too with your beers. It's pretty cool. And it's a really good
We're
tap
just
room.
making a thing.
And it's in the art
Rubber ducky.
district.
You get to keep the ducky?
Yeah.
Hmm.
You get to keep the little ducky and it's in the arts district. And so there's Hop Nuts, which is right around the corner, and then there's a couple other in that general vicinity. There's like one brewery on the strip. You're not going to find breweries on the strip for whatever reason, which I feel like you're probably because the rent
Everyone's
costs.
drinking liquor.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like it costs probably so much to have a brewery on the strip that it's just not economical. But
Right.
go to the arts district. That's where a lot of the breweries are. You won't go wrong. And there's a couple other ones. There's a zombie. Oh, I think it's zombie something. I can't remember now because I don't have my notes up. But I went there last week, and I'll be there next week if you're still around. I don't know how long you're gonna be in Vegas, but yeah, that's all I have to say. What kind of finishing touches do you have before we? What are we talking geeks tonight? What is our next episode for Hops Geek News?
We are talking Halloween and Disney and Universal and movies and
Righteous.
some theme park fun. So we'll talk about what the theme parks do as well as some of the classic movies. I did a little
Hmm.
research on some classic Universal monsters.
I actually watched Frankenstein at work the other day. As far as Universal monsters went, it was I forgot
Sad.
they're only 90. No, they're not even. They're an hour and 9 minutes long, something like that.
Well, not long ago, an hour and a half was considered a regular
I mean, this
length
is
movie.
true. This
Marvel
is also true.
has ruined us.
Speaking of which,
Now
Black
we're like,
Adam's
it's
out
only
tonight.
2 hours and 15 minutes.
Black
They used to
Adam's
give
out tonight.
intermissions for movies
They
that
did.
long.
Remember, there was this one Civil War
I don't
movie I
remember. I'm
went to
not
the
that
theater.
old.
There's a Civil War movie I went and saw that I left. There's an intermission in between, but Black Adam's out tonight. I'm gonna go see that tomorrow morning. I'm excited.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait to go and see that. But
Oh,
yes, so as far as Hops Geek News goes, we are on its own separate platform now. So you can search Hops Geek News, and that's where you will find our podcast now. And Spotify is having issues when we made the leap. For some reason, it's not showing our newest episode, which was Movies with a Twist. But you can find it on any other social media platform. Yes, it was Gods and Generals. Thank you. Gods and Generals. That's what it was. And so you can find all of our stuff there. We're now hosted by Spreaker, which is pretty rad. And yeah, we're still at the same social medias as far as Hops Geek News goes. So check us out there. But as far as Hops News goes, we did not drink a red ale tonight. Did not. Thank you guys for joining us. Micah, good to see you. Patrick, good to see you. Byron, Mrs. Mama Harper. And yeah, we will see you all next week where we're going to do some more beer tasting, some more beer news. Till then, cheers, my dudes.